Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm talking about long distance situationships. So, in my mind, a long distance situationship is where you're talking online with someone that you really like, but things haven't progressed romantically, and you two are not with each other exclusively. So, one of the important things that you need to do when you're in some kind of situationship and you're not sure really where things are going is you need to get very clear with the person that you're talking to. You need to say to them, look, I'm interested in you, right? You need to say to them, you need to make your intentions clear that you want actually something more with them. Because a lot of the time when people go wrong, even in, not even in long distance relationships, but in all relationships, when they're, someone really, when you're really interested in someone, is that a lot of the time most people, the majority of the people, they don't do anything about it. They just sort of sit and stew with their feelings, and not being direct and actually going up to the person that they like and saying, "Hey, look, I really like you. I'd love to go out on a date with you. When are you free to hang out?" And you can see why a lot of people would avoid doing that. It does very much put your neck out on the line for rejection. But the beauty of doing that is that you then know where you stand, and you know actually if this person is interested in you as well. So the idea is that you want to get your intentions, out there as soon as possible. So when it comes to like long distance situationships and long distance relationships as well, is that once you've established that you both like each other, you both want to get to know each other in a more romantic way, what you do is you limit the contact that you have with each other, and have just one set day a week where you can have a date for an hour over a video call. And I say a video call because it's a lot more intimate, and you get to read each other's body language. It's the next best thing that you have to an actual physical date. So it's really important that you have a video call with them once a week. That is like a date. So basically what that means is that you're not chit-chatting then online through Messenger all the time, but instead you're unloading your day, unloading your week basically, and having a good conversation with them and saying all the things that you've wanted to say to them all week in this hour long or perhaps a 2 hour long video call that you have once a week. And you could send them this video and say, look, I think this is important. Please watch this video, because I think this is the reason why I don't want to be chit-chatting online all the time. I want to have a set day where we can really, have, a quality time with each other in a video call. Because the thing is with Messenger and chatting online and things like that, is that miscommunication can happen. It's very easy for someone to read something the wrong way, for you to read something the wrong way, to take things the wrong way, to have a miscommunication mishap. And you don't want that to happen with someone that you really like. So it's easier to actually have that time where you're just waiting for that perfect day where you can get together and have a couple of hours where you can sit in front of each other face to face for a video call. To have that intimate time together. And you can say to them, like, because sometimes, I'm busy during the week. I don't have all day to chit chat with you. I'd rather wait and be able to give my full attention to you on that one day a week, that one evening a week, where we can really have a good conversation and get to know each other better. I'd rather get to know you via this way than through online messenger. And, this is what will weed out as well the catfish. So the people who are, because you have to be careful online, especially if this is someone you've met through like an online game or through like some sort of forum. So you need to be careful, right? And you see a lot of these sort of horror stories on the TV show Catfish, which is a show that I really love watching when I get time to watch it. Because, all the time, it's always because they've been chatting online, they haven't been seeing each other face to face, they've always got some excuse. So basically, if you suggest this to the person that you really like, online, that you just have one video call a week with them like a date, if they're a catfish, then they're not going to want to do it. They're going to be acting very suspicious or acting very strangely or not liking the idea, like, oh, why can't we just chat? Now, what's wrong with a video call? Nothing. Okay, so obviously if the person you're talking to is being not genuine about who they really are, then this will weed those people out. That will tell you basically how this person is. Now, it might be the case that they may have to rearrange it. Like, let's say they have to go and do something really important that day, and they'd rather do it on a different day, like Sunday. But as long as they give you an alternative time and an alternative day when you can actually do that video call, then that's fine. But if they're really, not wanting to discuss it, really trying to avoid the topic of doing a video call, then you need to be very, very wary, and you could be dealing with someone who's not being genuine about themselves. And also, if you're just chit-chatting online, it can get really boring really quickly, especially if you're telling each other all the time about what you're up to that day. You're always in each other's pockets, you're always in each other's DMs, and that causes the law of familiarity. And basically, the law of familiarity is when you're around someone so long and you're talking to someone so often that you start taking it a little bit for granted. Whereas if you just have one day a week where you have that video call and you're, the only time you communicate with this person is when you're arranging what time that video call should be, and that's the only thing you use Messenger for and other online chit-chatting things, right? Then that's going to make it a lot more exciting for you both, and it's going to make it more interesting. You can then, because if, for example, right, let's say you've been chit-chatting all week and then you decide to have a video call with them. You're not going to have anything to say. You're not going to have anything to say about your week. You're not going to have anything to say because you've already said everything during the week. You haven't got anything to talk about, which is why you kind of build it up. You build up all the information. Like you can say to her or him, all about the argument that you had at work, some of the gossip that's going on. You can all save it for that one day, that one that couple of hour period where you're talking to each other over a video call. But if you're telling him or her this stuff throughout the whole week, then you've got nothing to say when you actually have a video call with them. So let it build up, let all the stories build up so you can unload that on when you actually speak to each other through the video call. And they can do the same. They can then tell them all about their week and all about what they did, and you'll have more to talk about, right? So it's really, I think that's personally the best method when you're in a situation where you're in a long distance relationship or a long distance situationship that is leading to romance. So another thing that's really important with any sort of long distance thing is you need to make plans to meet up, right? You have to start moving the ball, getting the ball rolling to meet up with them, okay? So, and because you're the one that's watching this video, then I recommend you being the one that actually starts putting that information across. So even if you can't meet each other for a few months, even if it's going to take a while, there's a few things that you need to arrange. Perhaps you need to save up some money to get a flight booked or whatever, or they need to do that so they can come and see you. Then fair enough. But the important thing is that you get a date set in stone where you two are going to meet, a commitment, right? And then throughout that time, while you're waiting, you do the one video call a week thing, okay? And that will make things a lot more clearer. It'll make things a lot more romantic. And if they're not happy with that idea of doing the once a week phone call thing, then you need to be suspicious of that, right? Because anyone that's got their head screwed on right won't mind that you can't chit-chat all day to them, or, chit-chat with them all the time. Someone who's got their head screwed on right won't mind that kind of situation. In fact, they will probably really enjoy it, because especially if you say something like, when we do that video call, I'm then able to give you all of my attention, because a lot of my attention is sort of like sporadically in different places throughout the week, or I have a lot of other things going on, and sometimes I feel like I'm not giving you all of my attention when I message you. But if we do this video call thing once a week, then I'm able to give you my full attention. It's an allotted time that I've had just for you, and we can have a good conversation. We can have a little date. We can even dress up. We can even have dinner together and make it romantic. Okay, so that's the best sort of situation I think that you can probably try and create for long distance kind of things. But you've got to start making those plans to meet up. And seeing as you're the one watching this, you're the one that's watching the how-to, then it should be you that says to them, hey, we should start thinking about hanging out. When do you think you will be, physically, when do you think you'll be free to do so? And start making those plans. And usually what I find is that when you start making plans and you start getting the ball rolling, that's when they're going to start wanting to participate and, help as well. I found this with when I was getting married to my wife. Like we were engaged, we were thinking about getting married and all that kind of thing. And, you know, I started the ball. What I did is I started looking at venues and I started sending them to her, and saying, hey, what do you think of this one? And when she got home, I would show them to her and things like that. And then she like pretty much took over the whole thing after that. And all I did was I just started the ball rolling. So once you start putting in the effort and they can see that you're putting in the effort and you want the same thing, that's when they're going to do so much more as well. Okay, so that's my advice for you. Thank you so much for this question. If there's anything you would like me to discuss in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments. I'm only going to talk about things that I feel confident in talking about, because there are some people who have asked me to do things like, oh, can you talk about attachment styles? I'm not a psychologist. I never studied or dived into attachment style, so I'm not going to talk about that sort of thing. Something I'm not comfortable talking about, and I can't. And if I don't feel like I've had any personal experience with something, I can't really talk about it because I'm a life coach and I can only go from my own life experiences. Okay, so thank you so much for all your questions. Please keep them coming in, and I shall talk to you again very soon. And if you would like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.